At it again, and apparently there was a incident that we need to discuss a bit here. So like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you are new, and please make sure you are still subscribed to the channel too, like I've said previously. And I know not everybody watches every single video, so if you've heard me say this time and time again, I have to repeat it because not everybody watches every single video. But make sure you are still subscribed. I was recently scrolling through trying to find a certain channel, and then I realized, holy crap, I'm not even subscribed to them anymore. Like, I was just randomly unsubscribed. There were certain channels where my notifications were changed from all to personalized. So make sure you're still subscribed to the channel, and make sure your notifications are still turned on to all, and it didn't switch to like some weird personalized or whatever. All right. And with that being said, oh, and also, if you would like to help me out with the YouTube algorithm even further, watch this video to the very end. Helps out tremendously. But let's dive in.
Video posted by Clown World. It's a TikTok from Funny Marco. A black man wearing a Trump hat is confronted by some dude who gets in his face, starts insulting him, and then smacks the hat off his head. I want to play this video. It's only about 58 seconds long, and you can't really hear much, but I'll play it. So you got this guy. Let me put the headphones on so I can hear this better. The black man with the hat on says, "What's wrong with me supporting Trump?"
This dude was following this dude around Starbucks because he got on a Trump hat.
He says, "Tell me something and it sounds like he's saying he's done for us.
Getting real.
He's done a lot for us. And then the guy with the hat on says, "Look, man, it's just a hat." I'm paraphrasing because you can't really make out what they're saying. But let's jump ahead. Eventually, the guy says, "What are you going to do about it?" He says, "I'm not taking off my hat." And the guy rips it off his head and throws it on the ground. Let me do this first. What is Trump? What is Trump done for us? Abraham Accords.
Run through it.
Crushing ISIS. Yeah, I know. You're saying, I don't live in the Middle East. I don't care about that stuff. These things can prevent war. Pulling our troops out of Afghanistan and Syria. I'm sorry.
Lowest black unemployment. First Step Act.
The deadline for Afghanistan. Joe Biden kind of screwed that one up. Getting our troops out of Syria. That's a pretty good one. Bringing some of our servicemen and women home. How about working to secure our border?
Yep.
Reinforcing problem areas on the border with triple layer bollard fencing. Not a big, beautiful wall from sea to shining sea. I'm sorry, but we got some secured, some areas secured.
Yep.
Maybe that's not good enough. How about bringing back manufacturing to Michigan? The auto manufacturers who invested $3 billion back in the area. How about the best numbers of our lives? So claimed Jim Cramer. And that guy's not got a good track record. Trump is not perfect. Trump did a lot of dumb things. Trump did not succeed in every direction. But to say he didn't do anything for us is insane. People were...
See, and that's the thing that, you know, I don't find... I don't really like a whole lot when people try to criticize Trump and say, well, and not Tim. You know, Tim acknowledged, yeah, he's not perfect. But, you know what I mean? I'm not speaking about Tim. It's just other folks, right? Especially... Never mind. I'm not even about to go on that rant. But, when people say, well, Trump wasn't perfect, he didn't do this and did that. And I'm like, yo, Trump isn't a politician. Yes, he had connections with politicians because he has money. He even said it himself. Like, and that's the thing about Trump. Trump is honest. Like, if you just listen, if you sit back and listen, he tells you the truth. When people were talking about taxes, there's a famous interview, and he said, people are going to be shocked at how little I pay in taxes. He was telling the truth. Like, he wasn't lying. We're going to be shocked at how little he pays in taxes. He was like, I fight like hell to not pay taxes. I don't like what they do with my money. Simple and plain. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, I ain't mad at you, brother. I am not mad at you. We should all be doing the same thing. Obviously, legally, of course, right? Legally. Gotta stress that. Legally. But he wasn't a politician, so he didn't know the ins and outs of everything there was to know about, certain things. Plus, he had the next election hanging over his head. So there was like this balancing act that had to be done because he was getting attacked left and right, up, down, and center right? I try to put myself in other people's shoes. And I put myself in Trump's shoes, and I'm like, honestly, I probably would have made some of the same decisions. Under the circumstance, obviously we can all say hindsight is 2020. Looking back, oh yeah, we wouldn't have done this, wouldn't have done that. But that's the easy thing to do. Put yourself in his shoes with the knowledge that he had, under the circumstances that he was under, right? Not being a politician, not knowing what you know, right? Put yourself in his shoes and then go from there. Don't just, oh yeah, looking back on the situation, like that's easy. Like, of course, so I'm like, man, stop it with the nonsense. And now, when he gets back in office, though, he knows that some of the stuff that they were telling him, now that was BS. Actually, we can do that.
Talking about 2019 making more money than it ever made. But here's the real point here. This guy's minding his own business. It's just some dude wearing a hat. Leave him alone. And sure enough, this Trump derangement syndrome guy walks up and basically attacks the guy. Look, I know, trying to be hyperbolic. All he did was rip the hat off his head. We don't know what happened after the fact. But the guy was just like, I'm not taking my hat off. Leave me alone. And this dude gets in his face and rips it off his head. Yeah, nah. Bro, don't do any of that. That's crazy. Here's the real point. The New York Times. They published this June 10th. Trump supporters' violent rhetoric in his defense disturbs experts. The former president's allies have portrayed the indictment as an act of war and called for retribution, which political violence experts say increases the risk of action. You kidding?
Oh, you mean like the peaceful protest? You mean like that? It's so funny how they try to turn everything on Republicans when they're the violent ones. And we have it on camera. We have it on camera. The only incident they have of Republicans even remotely being any type of violent is J6. That's all they have. That's it. And even most of those folks were peaceful, right? They were just walking around looking at things like, oh, my goodness. Oh, this is quite interesting. Look at that. Wow. They were just walking around chilling. But we have incident after incident, video after video. We have the Wicked Witch of the West. When you see them in public, make sure they know that they are not welcome. Now, just imagine if Trump got on stage and said that. As a matter of fact, I think Trump should say that. Say those exact same words. Exact same words, word for word. And watch the media just go into a whirlwind. And then he comes out and then he plays the same video from the Wicked Witch, Maxine Waters. That's her nickname for me. Maxine Waters, right on camera. Well, why didn't y'all go crazy when she said it? I did that intentionally. Like, I was joking. She was serious. It just exposed the media. But I think Trump should do that, personally. But what do y'all think?
Kidding me? April 2nd, 2023, Trump supporters attacked with skateboards at rally in Orange County. I'm not going to sit here and pretend there's never been any cross violence. Proud Boys have fought Antifa. Trump supporters have fought other people. But the tendency for those who pay attention is the far left attacks everyone else.
Facts.
So here you have a video. And let's just put it this way. Far left rhetoric and the corporate narrative is putting Trump supporters at risk. It's true. This guy, let's play this game, left. This is a black man minding his own business being attacked by a white man. Facts. Are you going to call this guy a Karen, get him arrested, get him fired from his job for attacking a black man?
Nope.
I didn't think so. They won't. Because it just so happens this black guy's wearing a Trump hat. These people claim that they oppose racism and all that stuff, but the reality is they don't care. They just want to use these issues. And I've experienced it all too well. Yeah, I know. I talk about it every so often. That I come from a...
That's facts. That's facts. Now, if that black guy, Funny Marco, who's actually a comedian, so I'm not even sure this video is even real, but if he hadn't been wearing the Trump hat, this would be all over social media, played on a loop 24/7. It'd be on mainstream media. They would be figuring out where this guy with the Tyreek Hill jersey on, this white guy, where he lived, where he worked, and getting him fired. But because he was wearing a Trump hat, nothing. And that is where where it gets racism narrative goes out the fucking window. Out the window. Because it's all about diversity until it comes to ideas. Then you don't matter. It's all about love and inclusivity until you wear the wrong hat, until you support the wrong party. Then all of that goes out the window. And more people are waking up to that fact. Continue, Tim Pool.
A mixed race family, south side of Chicago. But the reason I bring it up is to make this point. When I'm at Occupy Wall Street and I'm just some random dude, they say, oh, but this is a perfect example, mixed race, high school dropout, that the American dream isn't working for you. 2 months later, cover of all these magazines or whatever, winning awards, and they say, he's just some white kid with a silver spoon in his mouth. They lie, and they use race issues to bait people. The left demagogues, they go to minorities and say, that group of people is the real problem. Really? That racial group, that's what they do. The left goes to people and claim it white privilege and white people because they're creating a scapegoat. Does the quote unquote right? Well, it depends. Who is the right? Is the right conservatives? Is the right white nationalists? Is the right libertarians? They lump all of it together, even though all of these groups disagree with each other because they're lying to you. They want to say that there's a singular group of people for all your problems, and it's just not true. I love to bring this point up. Choose the group of people you hate, and you can figure out which group you belong to. Who do you think is responsible for all the wars? If you said the 1%, congratulations, you're an occupier. If you claim it was the Jews, congratulations, you're an anti-Semitic white nationalist type. And they make the same arguments. I'm not saying any one of these people are right or wrong. I'm saying they're all wrong for the most part. There is no one group of people, one trait to identify what causes problems in the world because each individual is unique. I find it hilarious, especially with the anti-Semitic groups, when they're like, I'll keep it as dry and as academic as possible. Groups that are very critical of Jewish people. I'm like, dude, all you're doing is arguing privilege, and I don't care for that argument. It's meaningless to me. How come so many people in Hollywood tend to be Jewish? I don't care. I literally don't. Just meaningless. Because I've worked for media companies that were run by white Irish guys who were billionaires. And I think the guy who runs Bank of America is a white Irish guy. It's just nonsense. You come to me and say there's a collective group of people that's a problem, be it white privilege, be it the 1%, be it this race or that. I'm just like, get out of here with that stuff, dude. You're not solving the problem of cultural failures, cult-like ideology by targeting someone on an immutable characteristic. It doesn't do anything for me. And this is what we see with the left. What do they say? White privilege, the woke people. White privilege. They blame white people for all their problems. Yo, it's white liberals that overwhelmingly push these beliefs. Facts. So you know what? Fine. Maybe they're right because they themselves are causing all these problems But no, of course it's not true. Because then you've got conservatives who don't agree with this. But white liberals, man, they push this crackpot stuff. They get violent. Look at this. It's a video of an anti-Trump guy attacking a black man. That's not okay. But it has nothing to do with race. Don't attack random people because he's wearing a hat. This kind of stuff is going to ramp up. And this is just the first step. This is the open door. In the next year or so, we are going to see more and more of it. Why? Because we saw it in 2015, 2016. We saw it in 2019, 2020. We saw.
I mean, yes, we'll see more than we're seeing now, but I don't think that we'll see it to the level that we saw it in 2020, right? Because of the shift, because of the number of people that have woken up and realized what's actually going on. And like, hold on, wait a minute. Like people that don't even really support Trump, but because of the Democrats being so terrible, will now support Trump, even though they really don't want to because whatever reason that they, conjure up. But because the left is so terrible, they're just like, well, I guess I'll go over here and support Trump. At least he had things rolling, right? I just don't want this craziness going on. Like, I'm not a Trump fan or anything. Like, I've come across those clips as well. One in particular that I can't really show because he says some crazy stuff. I'm not even going to get into that because YouTube might accuse me of, some stuff that I'm not trying to promote, okay? But even in that video, he was like, yeah, I'm not a Trump supporter, never have been. I'm still not, but the left is just gone Looney Tunes. He said something along those lines. So, like, in 2024, I'm voting for Trump. Like, they've gotten that terrible that people that don't even like Trump are still going to vote for Trump because of how terrible they are, which also is kind of a slap in the face to Republicans in their messaging, Republican politicians in their messaging, because it shouldn't have to be that the Democrats are so terrible that they're just pushed to the right. It should be the Republicans' message is so great that they pull people over to the right? Or just imagine if Republicans had a great messaging and the Democrats were super terrible. Now, yes, Republicans are behind the 8 ball and are handicapped because the left controls the media, they control celebrities, they control a lot, right? So it's hard for Republicans to get their message out, but still, it still has to be a better message and put out as many places all over the place as possible. But who am I? I'm just a small YouTuber, I'm just saying.
In 2021. And they keep putting out this narrative. They claim it's Trump supporters that are the bad ones. It's the right. Look, man, let me tell you a story. Some Proud Boys were hanging out in New York. Gavin McInnes gave a speech. Antifa surrounds the blocks around the building and harasses people. Eventually, people on the right say, screw that, and run towards them. Fight breaks out. People on the right, the Proud Boys filmed it. It was mutual combat, right? Still illegal. The police show up. Antifa flees. The police are like, give us your names. They're like, screw you, and they run away. The Proud Boys said, yes, sir, officer. Here's my name and information. Guess who's in prison? That's right, the Proud Boys. They got arrested and charged, and the cop said, well, we don't know who the Antifa guys are, so nothing we can do about that. Yep. See, the people on the right don't get the game that's being played. And y'all need to pay attention to exactly what's going on, because the machine is coming after people on the right. The DOJ is. The left is lying about it, accusing the right of being the perpetrators, when in fact, at the bare minimum, many of these circumstances are mutual combat. Bad, don't get me wrong, no one should be doing it. But the far left shows up to attack people, the fight breaks out, and guess who goes to prison? I'd be willing to bet the only reason this story doesn't result in the guy with the Trump hat getting arrested is because the left is scared of the racial connotations behind it. Because they only seek to exploit situations where they can feign being the victims. I'm concerned about what we're going to see after the winter. Things are going to get cold. They'll chill out a little bit. We're going to get into primary season in March or so. And the campaign's going to ramp up throughout the summer. We're going to see riots. There's going to be violence. Trump's the front runner. Trump's likely going to win. So you can only guess what the far left is going to do. All I can tell.
Yeah, he's got a great point. We'll end it there. Shout out to Tim Pool. Of course, I'm sure most of you are already subscribed to his channel. I mean, the guy has a massive following. But, I mean, I do agree with him on one thing. Well, two things. Trump is going to win. And two, they are going to pull out all the stops possible. All of them possible. They know everybody's watching. The world is watching. I get comments from people from the UK, from all over the land down under. Like, whoa, what in the world is going on? Like, we get into that whole discussion on another day. But they know everybody's watching. And I feel like something along the lines of maybe a George Floyd type situation possibly is going to happen. Call me crazy. That's what I think, though. I don't have any inside information. This is just me thinking, right? This is just all off me, okay? I think something along those lines is going to happen because the left needs something to happen. Otherwise, they're going to lose. They're going to lose in a landslide, especially if RFK Jr. is the vice president. Oh, if that's the case, even if a George Floyd situation happens, they still might lose. Okay? That's how massive I think that ticket's going to be, or would be. Somebody tell Uncle Trump, RFK Jr. as a vice, please, ASAP. But yeah, I don't think the elites are stupid, right? These are very intelligent individuals with a lot of money, a whole lot of money that one could only dream of, right? So they've got the money, they've got the connections, They've got the intelligence. They know they're going to lose. And if they lose, they know it's going to be bad. Trump has said what he's going to do. They know what's coming. So they're going to pull out all the stops. And one can only speculate what exactly they're going to try to pull off. Y'all can let me know in the comment section what you think. Like I said, I think it's going to be a George Floyd type situation, but y'all can let me know. What do y'all think is going to happen? Possibly a ramp up overseas with the Ukraine situation. I think I heard Biden just activated some reserve troops and is sending them over to Europe. Maybe WW3, World War. See, that's why I said WW3 the first time. I should have just stuck with that. My dumb self. Goodness gracious. See, I knew I was going to stumble over the words, so I intentionally said WW3. I'm going to keep it at that because I'm not about to stumble again. Ain't no Joe Bidens today, okay? So maybe a WW3 situation. I don't know. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section below, but I definitely think something, they will try something. Now, they may fail at it. I don't know. I'm not saying that they will succeed, like fail, and I mean fail at as in like failure to launch, even like a Ron DeSantis campaign type situation, like failure to even launch the situation. Like they tried to get this incident or this circumstance to happen, and like it just didn't go the way that they expected it to go, and so it was just kind of like a blip on the radar kind of thing. I don't know. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go, and check out that video. Click that video right there. I'm out.